Hello learners. In this video, I will read and explain part 2 of the lesson A Short Monsoon Diary written by Ruskin Bond. Class 8 English Honeydew. So this lesson consists of extracts from the diary of the famous author and nature lover Ruskin Bond. So here the writer describes the flora and fauna during the monsoon in Mussoorie. So let's read part 2. Part 2. August 2nd. All night the rain has been drumming on the corrugated tin roof. Drumming means falling noisily. Corrugated is the surface. There has been no storm, no thunder, just the steady swish of a tropical downpour. Swish means move with a rushing sound. Downpour is a heavy rain. It helps me to lie awake. At the same time, it doesn't keep me from sleeping. It is a good sound to read by. The rain outside, the quiet within, and although tin roofs are given to springing unaccountable leaks, there is a feeling of being untouched by and yet in touch with the rain. So now let's see its explanation. The author wrote his experience on August 2nd as how the rain had been falling all night noisily on the parallel surface of tin roof. There was no storm, no thunder, but there was smooth falling of the raindrops on the roof. The noise of the rainfall made the author to be awake, but at the same time the sound of raindrops was very pleasant to him and it made him to fall asleep. And the writer also explains how the sound of the rain creates a very good atmosphere for him to read a book. There was rain outside and silence in the house. So he mentions the usual leaks from the tin roof, but there was no leaks in his house. These tin roofs give a feeling of untouched with the rain as there is no leakage, but he was totally connected from within. Now let's see next day's diary. August 3rd. The rain stops. The clouds begin to break up. The sun strikes the hill on my left. A woman is chopping up sticks. I hear the tinkle of cowbells. Tinkle is the ringing sound. In the oak tree, a crow shakes the raindrops from his feathers and caws disconsolately. Disconsolately means unhappy. Water drips from a leaking drain pipe. Drain pipe is a pipe which is used for carrying off rainwater. And suddenly, clean and pure, the song of the whistling thrush. Thrush, here you can see the bird. It is a songbird. Emerges like a dark sweet secret from the depths of the ravine. So ravine is a valley. On August 2nd, there was continuous rain and it stopped on August 3rd. And the clouds began to separate and the sun shone which stroked the hill. On the writer's left, a woman was seen chopping sticks and the tinkle of the cowbells was heard. And there was a crow sitting on the oak tree and shook to remove the raindrops from its feathers, and it cawed unhappily. The water dripped from the leaking drain pipe, and that drain pipe carried off rainwater from the building. As everything settled, the song of the small brown bird was heard like a dark sweet secret from the depths of the valley, and the bird song made the writer very pleasant. Now, on August 12th, endless rain and a permanent mist. We haven't seen the sun for 8 or 9 days. Everything damp. Damp means not dry. And soggy. Soggy is soft and wet. Nowhere to go. Pace the room. Pace means walk. Look out of the window at a few bobbing umbrellas. Bobbing is moving up and down. At least it isn't cold rain. The hillsides are lush. Lush means green. As late monsoon flowers begin to appear. Wild balsam, So you can see here in the image wild balsam, then dahlias, then begonias and ground orchids. Now let's see its explanation. So from August 3rd to 12th, there was continuous rain, and all the places are covered with permanent mist, and they haven't seen sunshine for 8 to 9 days, and the surroundings was wet, and they were unable to go out. They could only walk through the room, look out of the window, and could view a few umbrellas. And the writer was happy that it was not a cold rain, isn't it? The hillsides are green, and the writer could see a late monsoon flowers on the hillsides which grew abundantly. A few flowers are wild balsam, dahlias, begonias, and ground orchids. Right? August 31st. It is the last day of August and the lush monsoon growth has reached its peak. So, lush means green. The seeds of the cobra lily are turning red. You can see in the image the cobra lily plant or the pitcher plant, the seeds are turning red, signifying that the rains are coming to an end. In a few days, the ferns will start turning yellow, but right now they are still firm, green, and upright. Ground orchids, more lady slipper, and the white butterfly orchids put on a fashion display. So, display is a show on the grassy slopes of Landor. Wild dahlias, red, yellow, and magenta, rear their heads from the rocky crevices where they have taken hold. So, here crevices means it is the narrow opening. Now, let's see its explanation. So, on August 31st, that is the last day of August month, and monsoon growth is seen everywhere on the hills. The seeds of cobra lily are turning red. And this indicates that rains are coming to an end. And in the next few days, the flowerless ferns will begin turning yellow. But at that moment, they stood firm, green, and upright. And the writer mentions how the ground orchids and mauve lady slipper and white butterfly orchids look beautiful and fashionable on the grassy slopes of Landor. The other flowers like wild dahlias, which were in red, yellow, and magenta in color, bloomed on the narrow openings of the rocks. Snakes and rodents flooded out of their holes and burrows, take shelter in roofs, attics, and go downs. Attics is lofts. A shrew is a here you can see the image. It is a mammal. Okay, and in Hindi you call it as chunchudas. Weak of eyesight, blunders means commits a big mistake about the rooms, much to the amusement of the children. Don't kill it, admonishes their grandmother. So admonishes means warn. Chuchundars are lucky, they bring money. And sure enough, I receive a check in the mail. Not a very large one, but welcome all the same. So here you can see the snakes and rodents came out of their holes, as all holes are full of rainwater. So snakes and rodents took shelter on roofs, attics, and godowns of the houses. There was a small insectivorous mammal resembling a mouse. And what is it called, children? Yes, it is shrew. You can see in the image. Its eyesight is very weak, but it moves in the room. The movement of this shrew entertains children when these children try to kill it, and they hear their grandmother's voice warning them not to kill chunchudas, as these chunchudas bring money. After hearing about Chunchudar, the writer received a mail. It was a check of small amount. Though the check was of small amount, he got some money and he believed that Chunchudars bring money and are lucky. Now coming to the next day, that is August 3rd, that day what he has written, let us see. We have gone straight from monsoon into winter rain, snow at high altitudes. After an evening hailstorm, the sky and hills are suffused. Suffused means filled with a beautiful golden light. So here on October 3rd, the writer felt that straight from monsoon the winter rain started. The higher altitudes were covered with snow, and in the evening there was a hailstorm, and it cleared the sky, and the sky and hills were full of beautiful golden light which the sun was giving out. Now coming to January 26th. So January 26th, winter reigns in the hills. In the hushed silence, hushed means very quiet, of the house, when I am quite alone and my friend who was here has gone, it is very lonely, very quiet, as I sit in a liquid silence, a silence within, surrounded by the rhythm of rain, the steady drift of water on leaves, on lemons, on roof, drumming on drenched dahlias and window panes. So drenched is wet thoroughly. While the mist holds the house in a dark caress, caress means touch gently. As I pause near a window, the rain stops and starts again, and the trees no longer green but grey menace me with their loneliness. Menace means threaten. Now, on January 26th, the writer wrote a poem about winter rain in the hills. In this poem, he expresses his feelings when he is inside the house and outside when it was raining. He felt very lonely when his friend who was staying with him has left. There was quiet and liquid silence within. He was surrounded by the rhythm of rain, and the rain water was falling on leaves, on lemons, on roof, drumming on dahlias and window panes. There was fog which was holding the house gently in darkness, and the writer stood near the window. The rain stopped and showered again. He mentions that the trees were now grey and no longer green, threatening him with loneliness. March 23rd. Late March, end of winter. The blackest cloud I have ever seen squatted over Mussoorie, and then it hailed marbles for half an hour. Nothing like a hailstorm to clear the sky. Even as I write, I see a rainbow forming. Next extract from the writer's diary is on March 23rd, which marked the end of the winter season. The writer saw the blackest and darkest cloud resting over Mussoorie. Then it hailed. The frozen drops looked like marbles. It hailed for 30 minutes. The hailstorm cleared the sky. As the writer was writing his diary, he could see the beautiful rainbow in the sky. Right? Now, from this lesson, what do we learn, children? So, each and every lesson gives something or the other to us, isn't it? So, what do we learn from this lesson? Yes. So, from this lesson, we can learn to make friendship with nature, which is surrounded by trees, the beauty of flowers, and the inspiration of mountains and the warmth of sun, isn't it? And nature gives health, happiness, and prosperity. And nature has miracle in it. It reduces anger, fear, stress, and increases pleasant feelings within us. So you can be with nature, save nature, and be in touch with nature. I hope you all have understood. Thank you, children.